Podcast
Maybe 161 it'll go right.
Before Dexter calls me out. I have no explanations. You think 160 episodes, that transition would get smoother, but it does not.
Well,
That's fine. It's fine.
A couple weeks from now, ladies' podcast will look great. They bang that out perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we have a jam-packed show for you. We just had the Youth Challenge finalized here this last week. We had Masters, we have Provincials for the Open coming up. Bunch of stuff going on. So, but first of all, Adam Goose throwing 420 in Northern Ontario against
awesome.
Taylor Michelle, it looked like.
Yeah,
that's even better.
Couldn't have been against a better person, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what was that for? What were they playing in?
I think just league.
Just league, yeah.
Is it weird from us from being in Alberta and we see their top player as lead, not anchor? You ever notice that? And all Northern Ontario stuff, their top bowler, like during their match play, is their first bowler, not their anchor.
Oh, like in their league play, like their bowler plays
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different. I don't think it's weird.
We should do that for us. I mean, I would, trust Jesse throwing a strike every day, all day, right now. In my Sunday league. No.
Depends on how his fantasy baseball draft went before.
Yeah. Oh, we're not going to talk about that. That was ugly.
He was not having a good time on Sunday after that draft.
So we talk about our fantasy league a little bit, and we had it last week. There might have been, in our other fantasy league, there might have been an issue with the draft order. So one of our friends of the show, Henry, his son drafted Joey Votto first because he felt bad.
Yeah.
So our last
Votto.
pick was the first pick. And
first overall, the worst baseball player there is. Cannot have him. Like, Kikuchi's a better player than he is. Can't have
so
him.
anyways,
Interesting take.
all right, but anyways, yes. So yeah. Long story short, yeah. Congratulations to Adam for playing really well and throwing his 420.
Way to circle back.
Yeah, his ball only takes by half a second to get down there. So I mean, it was probably just a short adjustment, but
He definitely two-hopped his 11th shot. That thing hit before the foul line, I'm pretty sure.
I was too fast. I really didn't notice. You
didn't hear it?
No, I don't. Yeah, and everything's not in sound with me. Yeah, I know sound.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it makes sense now. Yeah,
Well, that's awesome.
it was good though.
So 5PL coming out this weekend. It's big matches, lots of different teams competing.
Holy.
Yeah, technical nightmare getting all these video feeds into one stream, but it's the season's rounding out, right? These are big matches for teams and getting playoff spots.
Yeah, and definitely the BCs. A lot of BC out there. Interesting to see what they do. Okanagan's really on the cusp of making a playoff spot, same as Vancouver Island there, and the knockouts. So I think out of those ones, maybe one, maybe two. One for sure, maybe two won't make it. So it's a big week for them. And obviously Misfits are singing pretty good right now. So, I think you'll see a lot of things move today on that aspect. And then, the other one, Snowmen finally get caught up in some games. Next Gen will hopefully show up. Whether it's a 1600 or 1100, they'll be there. And
Whoa! We do not shoot 1100s. We shoot 1380s and lose.
Okay, sure.
And we also don't set our cameras up on time, but that's a different issue.
That is very true.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm doing tech this weekend, but please be ready for those guys. Please.
No promises.
Please be ready for whoever that is.
You can talk to the other tip guy.
Yeah, this is a big week that we need cameras to be up like 40 minutes, 30 minutes ahead of time because
with the proper codes, like
only
the ones that say lanes, use that one.
Was
the one that says score, use that for scores.
Score.
It was half my fault. I'll take credit for that one.
Yeah, but definitely some big matches coming up for sure. There's only like the Mighty Plucks and the Snowmen have the most amount of games left with 4 each. So, they're going to be getting closer to the end of their season too. But big games for Snowmen. I mean, they've only got four games left. They're a little bit below 500, but they still have an opportunity to kind of push their way into a playoff spot too. So they're probably going to need to win 2 or 3 of those matches, but big opportunities there for sure.
Yeah.
Not sure if we can get close enough to see here.
And we'll see. We'll see what lane Holy Rollers play on. That'll be a bit. That's a big test there. Probably lane 4, 5, not 6, 7, maybe.
Not 6, but they just moved the whole pin center.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something?
I'm kidding.
Gerald's about 8 fireballs deep by now. I think we're fine. So we're okay. We're okay.
Motor City just killing it, eh?
Yeah.
Very
they
impressive.
are-
Unreal.
So, out of all those teams right now, which team are you most impressed with? Out of obviously we all know the Mayhem, and we know which players are all been around for a while. Ian McLean is just so effortless watching him play.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
He's so smooth to watch him play, and if I was in shape at his age and able to throw that smooth a ball, I probably have a long career. But he definitely has very impressed me on that as an individual player. Team wise, I think some of the BC teams that really surprised me. And
Northern knockouts.
Yeah.
To me.
100%.
Just because nobody knows who they really are. Like, obviously, they've come down to some WCBT events now, but prior to that, it was Intercities and BC Open is really when you only seen those people. So for the national crew, like, we've never seen or heard of any of them, right? So
No.
And they've worked hard at getting better for these things too, and it's paying off. It's awesome. I was gonna say this. That's same answer for me too. Northern Knockouts have definitely impressed me as like the team that's maybe not surprised, but we weren't sure where exactly they would be sitting, and they've done very well. It's awesome.
yeah, and they're sitting above 500, right? They're looking at a playoff spot. So
I just think from the beginning of the season to what they are now, they just seem not saying they were before, but they seem more professional. Like they seem a team that doesn't get rattled as easier. They seem a team that can come back from a lot of things. It just seems like there's one of the more professional teams in our division. Just that way. It's been nice to see that. Yeah.
The team I think that shocked me the most has been the Dream Crushers and how many haters they could accumulate over one season.
Do you know what? I think that's a new game plan for us. I mean, honestly.
We're at the point where we know that people hate us. We're the Yankees, so like let's just lean into it. We'll just lean into it. We're season 2. We need to have some personality out there, and
How you have Tim on the team? You can't have a personality.
The only issue that we're gonna have, if you keep calling us the Yankees, is we're gonna have to shave all our sideburns.
Oh, we're just gonna go with mustaches?
I could do a mustache.
No, you have to do clean yank.
Don't-
right?
don't-
Like, nothing.
Or mustache. You're allowed
Or
a
mustache,
mustache.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Cortez.
Nestor Cortez has one.
Yes, he does.
All right, not this podcast, Timmy. Not this podcast.
I watched out, but yeah, no, honestly though, like, yeah, we are the whatever. Like, we announced it on Sunday that almost every one of our tournament masters, a ton of them, are Dream Crushers, and not one person except for Dexter clapping. It was absolutely appalling, and it was. It is what it is. I mean, we. Next Gen had a bunch of people in there that had, Brad and Ty that made the team, and Jenna, right? And, the Bombers, I mean, basically what they're looking at is the senior division right now, right? So
That Heidi is going to absolutely throat punch you on Sunday night.
I welcome it. With their gray hair just coming in, I not my problem, right? Not my problem.
Between
Heidi.
Kelsey Wilton and Heidi Mapstone, Tim's not going to make it to the Open.
Both two women that could absolutely manhandle him too.
Yeah, or her husband, right? I mean, that's another option too.
Are you having a big old glass of OJ?
I am. I am.
Look at you getting your vitamin C.
Just trying to cheer things up. Yep.
Okay, well, without further ado, Tim, why don't you introduce our next segment here?
Yeah, for sure. So last weekend in Winnipeg, we had the Youth Challenge Nationals, and once again, absolutely incredible showing by all the teams out there. But today we're fortunate enough to have the goal-winning team, and so I'm going to just announce all their names. Well, not everybody's here today, but we do want to just recognize them. So we had Robin. I'm not going to pronounce anybody's last name, by the way. So Robin K, Chloe. Chloe Fleming, Sadie Olsen,
Wow.
Taryn
So you're not
Barber.
going to pronounce her last name, is what you're saying.
Absolutely on the right track here. Cooper Couples, Logan Newton, and Jim and Sandy Anderson.
Perfect. We'll bring him in here for y'all.
Yeah.
Almost didn't make it.
I wasn't sure if you would. Okay, first question. Robin, how do you say your last name? Oh, no, sorry, try that one more time.
Cowenhofen.
No, I would have
That's
nailed that.
That's exactly what I would have said.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think I did the experienced job in not pronouncing last name, so that's perfect.
Welcome aboard. Congratulations. It looks like we're getting Taryn on here right away, too.
Typical barber fashion, showing up late, eh? Yeah.
Amazing weekend for you guys. Who wants to kind of go through how things went down for you?
And it can't be Sandy.
Come on, Chloe, a veteran, you should do this.
Yeah.
No.
It went good. It was a good weekend for us. So.
Let's break it down. Chloe, how did your guys' round robin go? So not the championship round, but round robin, the first 2 days of the tournament.
Well, we started off with a little struggle, but the second day we came in there and we did what we had to do, and we snuck into the last day by the last game there. So
So you guys were facing Ontario your last game, correct?
Right.
I think so. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and you guys were in a position where you guys needed to win.
Yeah.
You and Newfoundland both needed to win your last game in order to make it in. How did that game go down for you guys? Describe the feeling of that game. Because it looks like it was really close.
Yeah, it was really close. It came down to the very end there, but it was a good feeling when we pulled it out. So
29 pins is definitely a little bit nerve wracking.
yeah, it was really stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm certain Sandy and Jim held it together for you guys. I know through their nerves, right? So
Yeah. A few more gray hairs than when we started the weekend, but yeah, it's all good.
yeah,
So-
absolutely. So I mean, I think Robin went in for Cooper, right? From my looks of it. So Robin, when you went into the last game of the qualifying, what was your thoughts or your feelings?
I think it was the other way around.
So other way around, Cooper in?
Yeah, I got pulled from that game.
Yeah, Cooper
Okay.
went in for
Yeah.
Cooper ended up going in for. It's sometimes hard to tell from just looking at the stats, but yeah,
Honestly,
Cooper ended up going in for Robin. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I can break it down a little bit to.
Yes, please. Yeah.
I wrote. You know what? I wrote things down because I'm really not good at remembering all this. So going into 10, so our leadoff bowler gets a mark, giving him 30 in the ninth frame. Right. So finishing off the game well. Our second player punches but cleans up the wood. So we got solid 15. Our third player, young Sadie, who's never been in anything like this before, our youngest player there, throws a 3-bagger.
Oh, that's
10.
huge. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Our fourth player goes strike spare, and that was Cooper coming in. Throws a strike spare for a 30 count. And our anchor, Taryn, also goes strike spare for a 30 count. And we win by 29. So
Holy
everybody
cow.
chipped in the 10th. It wasn't one person, it was everybody, and it was pretty cool. It was awesome to watch.
Sort of what makes champions, right? Everybody shows up when they need to show up, right?
That's right. It's a team game, guys. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like right up top, you get that first mark, you get that 30 count 9, like you're saying, just create the momentum down the line.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see how many times like you see the lead go up and punch, and then everybody kind of punches in behind or something like that. So you get out there, you get that first mark right away, get that momentum, and then just have it flow down the rest of the way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And then, so when you guys went into the championship side,
Yeah.
obviously, if people don't know out there, it's a double round robin, and the top 4 make it. So Manitoba, Alberta, Newfoundland, and Northern Ontario. The first round, when you guys played the first set, you guys dominated. I mean, you guys won a first close one against Newfoundland, and then you guys won pretty well over Northern Ontario and Alberta.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Morning was good to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had we came out of the gate pretty strong in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking.
Definitely a different dynamic to the end of that tournament as it was to the end of the qualifying round, where your last game didn't matter.
No.
Right?
True.
Your last game, you guys had it locked up. You guys were already won the gold medal, which is really the way you want to do it. It's fun winning it in dramatic fashion, but it's way less stressful if you have it locked up before the final game.
Yeah. And I haven't talked to the team about this, but I did not know going into the 10th that us doing that gave us the gold medal already. I don't know if I'm not sure if they knew that. Maybe we can check with the kids, see if did you guys actually know that would have given us the gold medal?
I don't think anyone really knew.
I knew it would help. That's all I knew.
Right?
Like 3 points is a lot, but I didn't know that it would come down to that.
Yeah, you guys are referring to Game 5, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Five in the
sneaking
finals,
out the 6-point win. Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy. Like, it just shows how close the competition was, like, throughout the entire weekend. Like, not just from us, but everyone across the country. And then Alberta has a slow start in the finals, and then they go for lunch. They must have had a different lunch than us, because they come back and they shoot like 3 1300s.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, night and day between the morning and the afternoon for them.
Yeah.
I did not realize that. That's crazy. There's like a 350-point difference between each game, or sorry, 250-point difference between each game from morning and afternoon. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So kids, that whole tournament, like, us watching from a distance, points-wise, Northern Ontario actually was really, really strong in the round robin. Going into championship Sunday, how did you guys attack that, knowing that you're bowling a team that has been absolutely dominant? What's your mindset going into Sunday? Let's hear from Taryn.
It's like for me, it was kind of just throw the same shot that you're throwing the first day and the second day. Nothing really needed to change necessarily. It just the fundamentals go back to them,
I have a quick reference question here, Taryn. Was it the same shot you were throwing in Regina Baker's? Or...
Absolutely not.
just checking.
You got this guy back here too.
Thanks, guys.
That was definitely not. We're not going back to that one for a little while.
Okay.
But that's a really great veteran sort of answer. Honestly, that's what you always have to do to be successful. Focus on execution. Don't worry about the results. Just go back and make sure you throw the same shot all the time. So it's a really good veteran answer there too. Especially when you played obviously very well in the qualifying and on Sunday you did too. Or I shouldn't say Sunday, but on the championship day you played very well as well. Logan, you had a phenomenal tournament.
Yeah.
humble. We like it.
You did. You played very well. You went 5-1 on Sunday, or I don't know why I keep saying, but 5-1 on the championships, and
you won all 10
all 10. So you had one loss the entire time. averaging over the 2 days about 251 the first day, 264, 264 the second. That's phenomenal bowling, man. That's just super consistent, and like your low game on championship day was 228. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah.
But I actually have a question for Logan, and since he's so talkative, playing at your home center,
Yeah.
right? Does this mean the championship winning goal, a national goal in your home center, means something, especially when your dad is hosting it?
Yeah, it's nice to win at home, but like a win's a win either way. So,
Okay.
Anyway.
So it's nice to win at home, but do you wish that nationals was somewhere else so you could have gone on a trip?
No, staying in your own bed was nice.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Fair.
But also staying at the hotel with everybody would also be very fun too. So
Yeah.
it could go either way.
It could go either way. I'll tell you what, when you get older and you figure out how many chances you have to play at home, and especially at your home center, it doesn't happen very often. So I would just relish that memory for a long time. So I think it's quite something. And obviously your dad did something to help you out with the lanes, right? He definitely oiled them to your
Well,
ball,
them
right?
just the right way.
Yeah.
I was there watching every single step.
Good.
Yeah.
You touched on staying in your own bed and not staying in the hotel. That is a nice benefit, but it's also, sometimes that can be tough too, because part of the big team chemistry bonding sort of thing is usually done in a hotel room, in somebody's room afterwards, and just kind of chilling out and chatting. I think you guys mentioned before that you guys never had an opportunity to actually get together, have a practice or something like that ahead of time too, right? So do you guys get to play together pretty often? How did the bonding come about between all of you?
4 out of the 6 teammates are from the same alley. And
Okay,
then
that helps.
only one of them is from out of town, so
Who's from out of town?
Cooper.
Cooper was.
And then
And
so
sorry,
you saw
where-
him every league day. So
yeah, where out of town was Cooper?
Carmen.
Carmen.
Oh, Carberry.
Carberry, yeah. So
Carberry.
he's a good hour and 45 minutes west of the city. And the one weekend we had set up for practice that everyone could make, we had a snowstorm, so he couldn't come in.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So Canadian.
It
I know, right?
Snows in Manitoba?
So who is the other one that doesn't play in the same center?
Chloe.
I'm out of St. James.
Okay.
Awesome.
Kind of a nice mix. I know 4 of you got to play together, but it's always nice to get to play on a team with somebody that you're not used to and get to meet new people and stuff like that. So it's...
I have a 2-part question. The first part's going to be for Sadie. So Sandy mentioned you don't... So Sandy mentioned that you haven't competed in a national event before. Is that correct? How does this change your bowling career?
I, but after that, I 3 years of bowling off. So
Sorry,
for me, that's like a huge.
Sorry, Sadie. I'm going to get you to try that again. You were kind of cutting out there, so I don't know whether you're like too far away. Oh, do you have your headphones in? Or are you away from the computer?
No, I don't.
Okay. If you could just like get a little bit close to the computer, so maybe we could, maybe it'll pick it up a little bit better.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I did go to a nationals in 2019 in Oshawa, and then after that, I took 3 years off, and this is my first year back. So doing good at nationals, like really good, was a huge confidence booster for me, definitely.
Awesome. And then for the rest of you, Tim put together a little bit of like a stats package on you all, and you all have YBC national experience, except for Chloe. I know you've been to YC before. How does YC nationals and a win at YC nationals compare to your YBC nationals?
Mm-hmm.
Robin, start us off.
I think it was way different compared to doubles because you had so many people to rely on. I thought that was pretty cool. Because with doubles and partner, it's a lot more pressure with you, like especially you always had multiple people who are telling you, boosting your confidence, holding your hand. So
Cool. Chloe, how about you?
Well, I prefer YC because you got the team environment, right? And you always have people there to hold you in there when you're struggling, and you have that team to like boost it up and keep the energy going. So it's always a good experience.
Logan, how about you?
I'd probably say the challenge was more fun just because you were 5 extra people, so it was more fun because you felt like you were on a team besides being by yourself or with one other person. So it was more fun with more people.
And Taryn?
I got kind of like mixed emotions about it. I like the aspect of having the team and having everyone to rely on and having the confidence boosters and everything like that you get on a team. But then again, I like singles or doubles that you get at YBC, where it's like there's no one to blame but yourself. There's nothing like that. It's all kind of down to you at the same time. So there's pros and cons to each. I don't think I have enough experience on a team to be able to say that I have a favorite. I have more experience as a double. And I like that, but I like this as well, and I like being alone. So I'm good for it all.
Sandy, how does the kids compare to the adults?
Oh, we suck.
This was different. Jim and I haven't coached YBC in probably 8 years or something, so it was kind of different to go back and work with the kids. A good difference. Now, certainly it helps that I know most of the kids. Some of them I've known since they were born, so it's kind of easy. Like it was very easy. But even the ones that I hadn't, that neither one of us had really met before this experience, it was fun. It's a different energy level than it is with the adults, and it's good. They listen better than adults. Okay?
Come on,
because they still believe that Jim and I know stuff. But now you go back and you coach adults. Adults know everything, right? So in that way, it was kind of nice actually because we felt that they were actually listening to what we were saying.
We all know Scotty's in the peanut gallery there, and we know he doesn't listen to anybody.
There really isn't anything else that feels the same as being in a pit with 5 other people. It's just awesome. It's just such a cool energy all the time. How many of you have experienced the polls before, and how did you guys feel about that?
Polls. Oh, the polls.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Yeah, the polls.
This is a safe space. Whatever you say, Sandy won't get upset.
Oh, I'm not like asking you to question her polls. I'm saying, did you?
Well, they weren't until you said that.
Now they're going back and checking out all of them. Yeah, because like really, you hear lots of perspective on the polls and how people feel about them, and some people are super nervous to get pulled. They don't want to get pulled. They're afraid of it. And then there's some people that are like, yeah, pull me. If I'm bad, I'm bad. Yank me. That's why we got a team, right? So, how did you guys feel about it?
You have to direct it to somebody, Dexter.
Sadie, because she didn't answer the last question.
And she's not.
I don't think she heard you.
Sadie, Sadie, how did you feel about polls? Like either being pulled or not starting or.
honestly, I was like okay with it because I would know when I would like mess up and I would get in my head, so I'd be like, oh shoot, like But
honestly, like, I was fine with being pulled and not starting. It was just like I was worried that like I wouldn't get put back in, but I always got put back in, so it was fine.
Yeah,
And
it's not very often when somebody's going to play an entire event without being pulled or sitting on the bench at some point. Especially in the adults, I see Logan played every frame.
Yeah.
And I think Taryn just had Northwest Territories off.
Yeah. But that doesn't happen all the time. It's something you have to get comfortable and used to and accept and be okay with, because again, it's just a different dynamic to the team, but it's an important dynamic, and it's what sets the Open, which you're going to talk about a little bit later, but it's what sets the Open between the Open and Masters apart too.
Yeah.
But it's a powerful tool, and part of being a good team and a good teammate is accepting those things and realizing that it doesn't mean that you're a bad player. Sometimes you can be up there just punching your lights out. Sometimes your timing's messed up. Sometimes it's just hard. Bowling isn't always easy, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's okay. That's why you've got Taryn just kind of smirks like, yeah, the game is easy.
I smirks because I know it sucks.
But you have to accept it, and that's why you have a person on the bench, because you know that person can come in and hopefully go out there and throw strikes for you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And we talked about that too, explaining that if you get pulled, it's not a punishment. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just we're trying to make decisions that we think are in the best interest of the team at the time. And we don't get everything right. Like, we questioned some of the pulls or the not pulls, like through the whole event.
Yeah.
Luckily, it worked out.
I think as a coach, you got to realize that, or hopefully the players realize that you're pulling them because they're not playing very well. And the person coming in is at least going to match what they're already doing, if not better. So the team is in a better situation no matter what. So they got to realize team comes first. Yeah, it's my time to sit, and the team will pull me along, right?
Yeah, and to the credit of all six of them, we never got like pushback, or we didn't get the big pelts or anything. They understood.
Awesome.
Yeah, and they took it.
That's what makes a gold medal team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's maturity.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
How many of you is this your last year of eligibility for YC? Robin, Taryn, and Chloe.
And Cooper as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does this win give you guys more drive to play either the Open or Masters? Like, we understand that your Open's a little bit different than ours in Alberta. But are you more motivated to participate in something like that, or a Masters, whether that's tournament or teaching Masters? How are you feeling about moving on to something new in bowling? Robin, you're up first. The first one on my screen.
I think it's definitely a confidence booster, and after YBC, I definitely do Masters for sure. And I'll probably try the Open at some point for a new experience.
Good. Taryn, what about you?
I plan to jump into them the second I can. So
good.
And
same
Chloe?
same sort of thoughts as before.
Yeah.
Didn't really change much. Just I've now experienced what it is on a smaller scale.
And Chloe, what about you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into the Open and Masters and continuing on. So
Perfect. That's awesome to hear. That we know post-secondary education is probably going to be huge in a lot of your lifestyles and stuff like that. But hearing that you guys are still interested in bowling after the YBC levels is a huge boost to the sport for sure.
Yeah.
Sandy, are you ready to compete against them?
No. You know what? I do still try to compete and stuff, and I was lucky enough last year, but we got some really talented kids coming up, and certainly not just these guys, but everybody. But yeah, there's a lot of really talented youth coming up that they're going to make some big moves in the sport. That's for sure.
Yeah, honestly, I have to agree with you. Your Manitoba core right now of like young kids is awesome. The ones that have come out of YBC recently are awesome.
Yep.
We're seeing the same thing from Newfoundland. Some like great players coming out of Newfoundland. Some great players coming out of Southern Ontario. Just like really big names, and it's awesome. It's so cool to see that youth movement. Hopefully, we can continue that on. Like get a bunch of bunch of bantams and juniors that want to stick around for a while, so we can continue to grow that senior program and get them out into the adults. But definitely a good young competitive core around the country right now. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, kudos to those youth programs out there. I know in Winnipeg, like Rosmere is a good program out there. St. James, I mean, I know Divinis do a lot of work in the community. Van Dales do a lot with Dakota. So, and then there's other ones out there as well. So I don't want to forget about them. But you can see the dividends they're putting back into the sport, right?
Yeah.
On a personal level, like it was great to see Winnipeg involved, and it was great to see a hometown tournament back in Winnipeg. And I will give a shout out to Jamie Noonan for being able to host this event and being able to publicize it and doing all that. Obviously, Rosmere always does a first class job. I know, unfortunately, me and Carrie only got two games in at Rosmere when the Masters were out there, so we didn't necessarily get the whole Rosmere bowling, feel and experience. That we had to go back we had to go back and do that again. So I know they do a great job out there, and I know he donated some really nice awards out there. Went over and beyond on that as well. So
yeah,
it was great to see that.
Yeah. These kids aren't done yet either. We have 3 of them from the team are going to YBC as singles.
Ooh,
and
nice.
Sadie's going as a double. So we've got, they're not done yet this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who's coaching you, Sadie? Is that Mike?
No, I have Darren Maxwell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Darren, he is one of the high average players out of here. He doesn't play WCBT or anything. So you might, I think he'd be familiar to you if you saw him, but this is his first year coaching out of Boston, and he's done a wonderful job with Sadie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think I've seen his name around the teaching masters before. Yeah.
So Sadie, you're a junior.
Yeah, I am. It's my last year.
You've got lots of years left. I was like, because I'm coaching the senior girls here from Alberta.
Okay.
That's why I was pretty sure that Mike was coaching the senior girls from Manitoba.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you're a junior. Wow, you got
So
lots of years left. Good for you.
So you're playing Chloe Dindex, I guess, right? Or is Chloe singles?
Chloe singles.
All right.
All right, we could still be friends then.
Yeah.
And there is just a comment here on the side, like a shout out to Karen Armstrong.
Yes.
I think that's super important. I saw her all over Facebook. She did put a lot of work into that weekend, so a huge shout out to her.
She's phenomenal. It was nice. I got to go out for dinner with her when we were in Winnipeg for the cash tournament out there, and she talked a lot about the C5, about Masters, about YBC, of just getting kids involved and people involved, and holy cow, is that lady phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys have such a core of amazing people out there. It's great.
Yeah, we're fortunate not. Yeah, definitely. One of the kind of cool things that I wanted to mention too when we were talking about kids, staying with the sport. One of the really neat things this weekend was getting to see kids of people that I competed with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So Stacy's daughter, Michaela, was competing.
Yeah.
Abigail Abby Tiller from Newfoundland played against her mom Tracy, and Vanessa Barry, Nat Kamash Barry's daughter. So very cool seeing the second generation, competing at a high level just like their parents. It was really neat.
That's really neat. Michaela
Nat was the one that was sharing absolutely everything on Facebook.
Oh yes, she was all over it.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Michaela, highest average of the tournament for the ladies with 241. Abigail, that you were saying, was third with 234. That's really neat. Logan, congratulations to you for winning the scholarship there and edging out Taryn.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, I could see the pain in your face when I said it to you, but no, the 255, 252 in a national event at the highest, the most pressure situations you could be in. That's phenomenal. You guys played great. Just Logan played 3 pins better. Your dad's all the way over there. He can't fight me from there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know what? I'll take that.
Your dad's the one that has to discipline you, so we're cool with it.
I'll take that.
You look at the averages for like the All-Stars and stuff like that, like those averages are pretty reminiscent of like back when I played YC.
Yeah.
There was lots of speak here, I don't know, the last 3-4 years, how people are saying that the youth programs have been producing lower averages and stuff like that. I don't see that on the national level.
Especially since like when you played at the peak of bowling in the 80s, right?
Wow. We'll let that slide. No, like the fifth guy was average 245. The girls weren't far behind 220s, 230s, 240s, right? Like that's phenomenal bowling at a national level.
See, now Taryn's laughing.
When was my rookie year? 2017, right? Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Late bloomer. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Congratulations, guys. Like that, super fun to follow and watch as you guys went along, and just some really clutch bowling in there and winning close matches, and it's just neat. It's so fun to watch. Congratulations. Yeah, good luck to those that are going to do it again next year, and good luck to those that are going to, YBC Nationals here right away as well. But
yeah, so we're going to put you guys on the spot. We don't do this very often since we have so many guests. Any questions you have for anybody that's on podcast, or you want to share a memory that happened at Nationals or anything like that, it is your podcast now.
Ooh.
I don't think Taryn gets a chance. He flipped us off.
Yeah, Taryn's
I love that he asked permission first, though.
I'm on this thing, man. I watched his, but like
it was boring. I know.
There long enough.
He's been on 2, hasn't
he? Yeah, he's been on 2. Yeah. All right, we'll maybe start round table. Maybe start off with Robin.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. You've been picked on lots tonight.
I don't really have any questions. One comment I have about the weekend was that it was really nice to actually bowl with Chloe instead of competing with her, because we were always competing. So having that like team dynamic was super different, and I thought it was pretty cool. I really liked it. It was way better than competing with her.
Yeah, cool. That's something you got to find when you get into the adults as well. Playing things like Masters. I mean, the Open for sure, you can get to play with people from different centers within your city. But the nice thing about Masters is you get to play with people from all around the province that you would never get a chance to play with in your own local cities. So that's a really good point. It's nice that you could actually play friendly with someone, Yeah.
As someone who is younger, I definitely agree with this. I got a chance to play with someone old like Carrie this year. We bowled in the 80s, so it is really nice to have that opportunity.
Jesus.
His back was from the 80s this weekend. That's for sure.
All right, Sadie, you're up next.
I would. It was really nice to bowl with a bunch of older people that I know I'll be bowling with next year at senior. So it definitely me prepare for what I need to do next year.
Yeah, absolutely. You already have proven to yourself that you can compete with all the people that are 5 years older than you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Cooper, get in here. Logan, let's go to you.
I have no questions, but it was really fun when Youth Challenge when you're talking to other teams, just that you never thought you would talk to, and then on the last day you're talking to like Northern Ontario, you're talking to Newfoundland, you're talking to everybody, and that was the most fun part of Youth Challenge. So.
Absolutely, man. Bowling is just a giant family, and the more you get to go to these things, the more you get to see them, the more those like relationships and that bonding builds, and you'll gain friendships for the rest of your life. That's the really cool thing about this game. And the neat thing is that when I got out of YBC, so I was friends with people like Gino and people like Gino and Lynn. And they were like mid-50s, and I was friends with them.
Yeah.
Kara really doesn't want that comment up there. But yeah, that is hands down the best thing about competing in this game. Absolutely.
You can play against your coaches.
All right. What was that, Scotty? Nothing. Chloe, let's hear from you.
Not much. We should. Big thank you to our coaches, though, because Sandy and Jim, they put a lot there. Kept us all sane, so that was good.
Awesome.
Sandy, honestly, sometimes keeping the people sane is the hardest job.
I
Lynn
know,
has
right?
to deal with Dexter and I, so
yeah,
talk to him if you need a pal.
You and Dexter are nothing compared to Weber and Brad, so...
We're
sure.
We're weirder, but we're less self-defecating.
Less maintenance, as they call it.
Yeah. Yes. All right, Taryn. Let's hear what you have to say and what your dad had to say beside you.
Oh. He's sitting back in his chair with his head tilted back, pissing himself laughing. So. He made me mute it and told me to ask a question, which was a good question. When you guys were in like YC, how did it translate towards when you're as old as Carrie? and making teams and stuff like that.
It didn't. My YC career was non-existent. Made every single provincial, didn't make a national.
Yeah. It definitely translated. It definitely puts you in a position where you're comfortable competing. You're comfortable with having to throw pressure shots. When we got out, I mean, there were a lot of factors that went into our adult game after leaving YBC. We had our major men's match play here in Edmonton that we had. It was phenomenal. You had Bruce, you had Lynn, you had Gino, you had Carrie, you had all the old guys, and John Stone. But it was so good. It was so welcoming. We went to bowling school. Growing up, and Gino sat us down when we were 14 years old and told us that we were going to be playing in this Wednesday Match League. Like, we didn't have a choice. He told us that we were going to be playing in it. But going through that and then playing in Youth Challenge and being able to compete on those teams, the first thing it did is really taught you how to be a good team player. It taught you how to be successful, how to not be an individualistic player when you're on a team. You're allowed to be an individualistic player when you're playing singles, for sure. But when you're on a team, you got to put those emotions aside at times too. But it certainly taught you how to. Those qualifying periods certainly taught you how to throw pressure shots and just trust the fact that you're good enough to make those teams. Really.
For myself, I think it was opposite. Like I actually probably learned more playing singles in YBC than I did youth challenge and four steps. Only because when we were playing a lot back in the day, we had a lot more team aspects in doubles and singles, right? So I learned a lot more playing the year I played singles, which prepared me more to adult because, well, I lost, but I learned more off of that than I did off a team. I guess the only thing I could say about YC when it came to the team concept was I never played a mixed team before. So I played a couple more mixed teams than I did boys teams back in the day. And I learned how to play on a mixed team instead of just a bunch of guys yelling and screaming all the time, which we do now on the men's team. But that and the qualifying. I learned a lot from the qualifying periods. I learned how to be in certain positions and understand what I needed to shoot for qualifying to make those teams back in the day. And then it kind of helped me out down the road. I mean, I learned a lot more from probably 16 on. And I didn't make an open team until I was 22, 23. So I learned a lot more from failures and understanding that where I had to go from that aspect.
Let's give a little perspective here too. This is for Tim and Dexter because I know I was in the same position. With all your successes in YBC, how long did it take you to make your first Masters National?
It was 2014, so 27 or 26. Yeah, it took me a lot. And honestly, I remember the one year I had a chance to make Masters Nationals, and I think it was in Gatineau. I think it was 2011. 2011 it was, and it was so dumb. I missed the team by 4 points, 4 or 10 points or something like that. And I was on a 4-bagger at Bonnie Doon. I threw my 5 in a row. It was the last tournament. It was like the 7th game, but I didn't check if all the pins were there. And it was actually only 4 pins, so I actually got a corner instead. And so I missed the team out by less than 15. So that's the reason why I reset the pins. It's just more of a habit from you making sure all the pins are up on deck. You live and you learn from your failures and your losses more than you do off your wins. And I don't think I would ever change anything from any of that kind of stuff growing up.
Yeah, just the point of my question was like,
yeah,
even though you guys had some success here, like, just know sometimes it doesn't translate right away, which is fine. It just might take a little bit to make that adult level, but it's there. Like, it's proven that.
Yeah.
Right. Don't get discouraged if you come out and then you just expect success right away. It's obviously great to have those goals and hopefully you do succeed right away. But stick with it.
I made the Open my first year out of YBC, but it took me 7 years to make Masters. And at the end of the day, don't get discouraged. This game still takes work. And we're still working at it, and we're still learning things, and we're still fine-tuning our game. It doesn't stop. I mean, Weber is still constantly working on his stuff, and he needs to.
We all can't be tied, right? We all can't.
Win. Hey, I did not make my first Masters Nationals either. I'm not. Brad did. Brad made his first one. No, I would agree. I would kind of take a step back from the actual bowling side of it and thinking about like what applied to my game and thinking a little bit more about the community. I remember in my first YC Nationals, it was in Bonnie Doon, kind of like you guys. It was in my home center in Edmonton. And I very distinctly remember Matt Schultz being in the background cheering on our team. And that was kind of the shift to when I started to feel welcomed into the older community, into the adult bowling, as opposed to just like the youth side of things. And we're very fortunate in our sport that our zone managers and our coaches are high-level athletes. That's not something you see in hockey and in those other sports where your NHL players aren't coaching your community league teams, right? So take those opportunities to connect with your managers and your coaches because you will be involved with them 15, 20 years from now when you're still playing, right? So for me, that was the big side of my experience in Youth Challenge and YBC Nationals was getting to connect with Tim as E5 president when he was on the bus with us down to Medicine Hat, or having the Edmonton Open team cheering for our YC national team in our center. So that's what I would say is kind of the most applicable for me, is just connecting with people that I didn't have a chance to connect with before.
Right. And how cool is it? You guys have two legends in both and the Andersons coaching you guys, right? You guys can never take that back, right? And looking back, 15, 20 years from now, is something you'll definitely cherish, right? It's something you'll learn a lot from those two people. Yeah.
Sandy, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. I'm just loving the fact that I'm obviously the oldest one here on the panel, and yet it's poor Carrie.
Sandy, that is not
I'm
obvious.
Good. So
That is not obvious. It's so quiet. I love it. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Congratulations once again. Amazing tournament. That's a good call. Congrats to JD shooting his 403 at Nationals. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will not disregard that, Steve Barker.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding us. That was. Yeah. We should have not have forgotten about that.
Yeah,
so, any last comments before we let you national champions go?
No.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for spending time with us and letting us in your national experience and sharing all that with us and with everybody that's been watching and will watch this afterwards, right? So this is recorded forever, and if you want to go back and watch it, which probably you're young and don't really care about it, so I understand. But
someone's gonna clip me flipping Dexter off. So.
For sure. That is gonna live forever. So
thank you to everybody coming on except for Taryn.
All right, we'll
Thanks
let
for
you
having
guys.
us, guys.
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you.
We'll let you guys go. Have a good night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
You too.
Oh.
Hey guys.
Almost
Hey,
got
guys.
it.
Didn't quite make it the second time,
No.
Carrie.
No. It was 5 cents a line. Jackasses.
I don't know how we got here, but I'm liking it.
That was pretty awesome having all the kids on there and
Yeah,
and
that was
Sandy,
really
right?
good.
They're
I
all
don't know
really
why
good
you guys
except for
started
Terry.
this rumor that I'm so much older. How much older am I than you guys? Not much.
You're almost
Well,
in
I'm
your
only
fourth decade.
22.
Well, I'm a lot older than you, Ty. I get that. You could be
Dash
my
and I
kid.
are only 27.
Ty, you were talking about being welcomed into the community and what all this stuff, and the hard part is in my head. I cannot wrap around my head how old you or Brad are, because you guys have been around us for forever. I remember when you were literally you were 5 years old. You were a peewee. I remember you as a peewee bowling on lane 16, throwing a 5-bagger with perfect form as a guy that's literally 2 feet tall, and acting like nothing happened. No reaction, it was just routine.
Yeah.
And,
Credit, Desiree was around, and obviously Des is really good friends with you guys growing up kind of at the same time, so we did have that in. But yeah, Brad and I have both been super competitive since we were 13.
Yeah.
But that was just in my brain, that was the switch of kind of hearing those voices, being I know who that is. And they're cheering for me, which is really weird.
Yeah.
It should be flattering, right? And
super.
And that's why I can't speak for other people in the country, but I think that's why Alberta, we do so well, because we have a good community behind all our players growing up in that. So super fortunate on that aspect. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Brett it's just a speed roast carry hour, right? Oh, my God.
I heard Tommy Ryan was a cool guy.
But we're talking about old. Tyler, you still look 22. Brad, honestly,
I feel 42. So
Brad looks like his mid-30s, if not older, right now. With that hair and that goatee he got going on there, he looks like an evil genius, and you don't want to go to his lab. Okay, so
He looks like Jack Sparrow or whatever. He's got the full pirate mode going on.
Yeah, I do.
Dexter, based on Lenny's comment, you'll be 12 till the day you die.
That's the plan, man. You can get older, but you don't always have to grow up.
Oh, amen. All right, next topic. Not Carrie being old.
Well, it's probably going to come up because we probably will talk about Masters, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You're not the oldest on the team.
No, I'm not. I'm
There you
close,
go.
actually.
Yeah. No, Harvey is.
True.
Harvey's the coach.
Harvey. That's your first.
You're just wanting people to murder you, eh?
Oh, I mean, I have a half a day to get back to normal here. So, yeah, no. We can touch base on a little bit of Alberta Masters. I know we haven't touched base on a lot of other provinces Masters, so we don't want to really take away from that. But yeah, we held it here in Bonnie Doon and Sherwood Park, and scores were quite something. Once again, Bonnie Doon didn't hold back, and Brad kind of blew away the field. He limped into a 2480 or something like that. I think Dexter could probably bring up the stats.
2481.
Yeah.
With like a 240 or a 260 his last game. He was
2481 for Brad. Yeah. Carey shot 2393. Michael Marciano had a hell of a weekend. Shot 2404 on Saturday at Bonnie Doon. Brad won. What was that? That was Brad's sixth tournament win. Yeah. Yeah. The ladies on Saturday, Bonnie McDonald shot 2277. Great score. Jen Baker came in second with 2127. So 150 back of her, but what are you laughing at?
Taryn's still on with private chat.
He's going off.
Such pie houses that we have here in Alberta.
It's probably Barber.
It's probably Barber. I just can't believe Barber. I just can't believe Barber wouldn't let Taryn have his time to shine. Right? I don't.
Yeah. Pie houses. What was I gonna say? Yeah, Bonnie Doon played really solid. I know, Dexter, you had a bit of a struggle there for a bit, but you still ended up shooting 22.5, right?
I shot 2241, and it was I was punching 3.5 to 4 times a game. I punched a ton, and then just threw strikes at the end of every game. But I punched a lot, and like that's always me, right? Punches are always the bowl and never the house. But yeah, played okay, just couldn't get it off the middle. And then I looked at the stats going into the final 5 frames, because I don't really look a lot at the standings during Masters. You kind of get a pretty good idea of where you're sitting anyway, so you don't really have to. But I looked at it going into the final game. It's like, okay, well, this person that I'm chasing for Masters is, 100 behind me today still, even though I'm not playing like unreal. And this person's 100 pin behind me too. So if I bang out here, I can make up some decent ground. And banged out the last game in 10 or last 3 or 4 frames in game 8 there to get to 2240, and that definitely helped out. I meant what I meant, Brett. I meant what I meant. It is a word.
Yeah, and then Sunday Masters at Sherwood Park. I mean, scores were similar. Like, it wasn't much different.
Yeah, there was a bunch of 20. Well, I had 2369, and there was a bunch of, or one
Michael had 2300 as well.
Yeah,
He
Michael
played well.
Marciano 23.
He played well all weekend,
4,700 for 2.
Yeah, that was a big weekend.
I was kind of giving Dexter a hard time. Game 1, frame 1, he threw a strike on. I thought he was coming out of his shoes. I haven't seen him so excited. I don't know what he did. Maybe he had a couple extra pills to get him some more sleep the night before or whatever it was. But
I don't know.
I don't know.
It was weird. Like, normally I'm like really chill and calm while doing like single stuff, and I was talking to a few people, but before it started, I was just amped up. Like, I was just like rearing to go. I just had like this energy inside of me. It's like, let's just go. I was just jacked. It was weird. I don't get like that often. But
no, it was really weird. I didn't want to be around you, but
that feeling was mutual.
But but you played really well. I mean, you choked in 10 or 12 or whatever it is for your 400, but that's okay.
Oh, I left a corner in 11, for 398. But
398, yeah. But you guys played really well. From looking from the outside, I had a couple people I needed to try to catch. Obviously, at the beginning, it was Matt, it was Carrie, it was Bobby, it was Gary. There's Dex was up there, and everybody played really well. And for those people who didn't make it, I will say you didn't lose it; they just beat you. And I rather that be a form of good bowling. Carrie had probably half a body that was available, and he somehow shoots 2,400 or close to at Bonnie Doon, and he came out and shot really well at Sherwood Park as well. So it was nice to see.
46-30 for 16 on the weekend, and honestly, we talked about it before. It's like 4,600 was the target for pretty much both of us. And then going into after Carrie shot 2,400 on Saturday, and I shot 2,240. At that point, I was 60 points back at Carrie for best three going into Sunday, and I was like, we both kind of had a feeling that it was going to be one of us. Maybe two, and I could see it in Carrie's face when I shook his hand in the morning and said, "Play good today, buddy," and he just kind of looked at me and went,
I knew it was gonna be me or you.
He didn't say a word. I said, "Play good today, buddy." He goes,
competitive edge.
Yeah.
But we both started to think 5-bagger, right?
Yeah.
The very first game, and I chopped chariot or whatever it was, but you ran, and you shoot 398, I shoot 319 or something like that. I'm like, and you already caught up to 60 pins, and I shot 300. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to catch somebody else because I knew Dexter was gonna be lights out. So I was looking around, and Schultz and Gary Baird were the guys I was shooting at after that, right?
And Matt was playing with you, right?
And I played with Matt all day.
Yeah.
And there was, you could see he struggled the first half of the day, but game 5, he just all of a sudden things clicked, and I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble, because I had already gained the gap he had on me plus a little bit, and I was like, it's going to be a dog match the last 4 games. We're going to be back and forth between the two of us, and sure enough, that's what it was.
Well, I will like to tell our viewers that we went out for supper. I'm just happy Kerry made the team, because he told us if he didn't make the team, he'd be playing Senior Masters next year. So I'm just really happy that he decided to want to play well. So we have a couple more years left of him.
Everybody, this is your soon-to-be or A5 president that is clearly lying through his teeth.
Everybody at home, this is the last podcast you'll ever see Tim on, because he's going to be dead next week.
By a lot of people. I can't believe Kelsey Wilton didn't do it.
Oh, well, she's a wuss. I mean, I wouldn't tell you right now.
Oh, man. You're dead. But and Carrie, you just played phenomenal all weekend and put yourself into that position. It was absolutely awesome to see. It's last year for me, I felt like I played myself out of a position on the final day, and it was nice to play myself into a position this year. That's for sure. There's been a couple of points this season where it felt like I had my back against the wall and I had to throw something big, and I did. So that it feels nice that that's there.
Yeah, before we were kind of going into the weekend there, I was, I think, 240 out of team or something, sitting in 13th. But I was like, with Bonnie Doon and Sherwood, that can be made up in no time. And when I was asking Dexter about lane draw and stuff like that, and he told me somebody ahead of me wasn't playing. I was like, oh, what? How is that?
Yeah.
How is that a thought process? I guess if there was work or something involved, but if they had decided to step back because they thought they were too far out, welcome to the Masters, because you never know going into the last weekend who's really out of it.
Exactly.
That's true.
But you also only paid for one tournament to start. So.
Well, let's be fair. We were playing Bonnie Doon.
But we've talked about this for a decade now, Carrie. We finally get to play on a team together.
Yeah.
We've talked about it for a long time, and we finally
are old.
Yeah. Hopefully, your experience is better than my experience, as in maybe winning more than a bronze medal.
Well, all I know is Dexter will probably get the ball out on the lane. So.
Oh, fuck off. Trigger.
That's an inside joke. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. It's still continuing in 2022. Yeah.
Well, talking about some other provinces,
yes.
Newfoundland has their Masters next week, and Saskatchewan, I know, finished theirs last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the entire stats, but I know Prince Albert is sending a lot of people to Masters Nationals.
Sean Dino made it.
Sean Dino, Michael Palashati, who's 19, like he's I think first year master. Carol Paish is a coach.
Chad
Krista
Vandell,
Hall,
ACDC,
ACDC, and Coralie White Fury. Is the six that I know. Josie Brooks is the ladies singles.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit different. No. I know Kevin Clark made it right, but no Taylor McCaw. Taylor's not on. That was surprising. But it shows how many people went on and played well.
Michael Wist, right?
Yeah. Good for Sean Dino. Sean plays a lot of these events, right? And it was good for him to play out well. I mean, it's different in just a generalized statement. It's different in Saskatchewan than it is out here. We play for 6 events, take our top 4. They play 4 and take their top 3. So it's a little bit different. I mean, less stuff for that aspect, right? I think it's going to be a great event. It's going to be great in Newfoundland. I did make a post on behalf of Sure Bowl. I'm pretty proud. We have 15 out of half the members are from our center this year, and could not be prouder of that. So yeah, pretty cool.
We should be remiss if we didn't actually name the full team, and then we should do the ladies as well.
Yeah.
So the single is Bradley Ticket.
Yeah, Brad had a phenomenal year. Tyler just kept edging him out. Brad had 3 second place finishes, and then he finally won one at Bonnie Doon. So he's taking our single spot for the tournament min. Then our team is going to be consistent of basically team 5-pin universe. So we're going to have Tyler, Carrie, Weber, myself, and Gary Baird for the men.
Just going to shout out there, Next Gen took the top 2 men spot, not Team 5-Pin Universe.
It's both quantity, not quality. Sorry.
I said 5-Pin Universe. I didn't say Dream Crushers.
I said Team 5-Pin Universe.
I know.
I'm not on that team. I'm on Next Gen.
You're on our team right now.
5-Pin Universe isn't a team.
Well, then what are you talking about?
We are 5-Pin Universe, the podcast.
Oh, I'm just a permanent guest. I'm not part of 5-Pin Universe.
Yeah, no, you are. You are. Jeez.
You are now. Yikes.
And our coach is
the
Harvey.
ladies,
I don't know.
Yes, Harvey Posa. Yeah, absolutely. And then Jen Baker will be our ladies single representative. And the team is going to be made up of Jenna Lamoureux, Katie Rayner, Bonnie McDonald, Heidi Mapstone, and Christine Poza. Which is awesome.
Way more 5-pin league variation on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in total we have 5 Dream Crushers and 3 Next Gen. And 1 Bomber.
And a bomber.
And 1 Heartland Kingpin.
And yeah, you're right. 1 Heartland Kingpin, that's right.
Brett, so this question for the people just listening. Crazy amount of costs for the coast. How long until nationals are always centralized? I hope never. There will always be a way to raise money, and it just may take more effort in the future. Yeah,
I will say YC was centralized for a few years, and then they opened it up to a few centers in Alberta, Manitoba would have been, and then Quebec and like Ottawa region, just because of flights and all that. But not a lot of people were happy with it, and things changed. And obviously, you're going to see next year. I think it'd be a province that we haven't been to in a while. So, as much as we want to, it makes complete sense what Brett's saying. I just don't think people want to do it because they want to see the country too.
That's exactly it. You want to see the country, and you also so it's a crazy amount of cost to go to Newfoundland for sure. But that being said, if we held it in Alberta all the time and Saskatchewan all the time, then Newfoundland has to front the costs of their travel every single year.
Yeah.
Right? Every single year. And that's not fair either, right? So, yeah, it's got to be fair across the board. And I think that if they ever got to that situation where finances were too much to make it happen, then I think that there would be ways where other provinces would chip in and help and make sure that it is doable. Yeah. Yeah, so Len saying Sean Dino, Dallas, Van Dale, Kevin Clark, Michael, oh crap, starts with
Pelishati.
P. Thank you, Pelishati. And Dennis Zacher.
Yeah.
And David Bauer. Is David Bauer related? Is that Garth Bauer's son?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's awesome. No.
It's on a rotation. And an IP is on a bid system.
Yeah.
Right.
So IP has a really exciting place next year, so stay tuned on that.
Yeah. Ontario had a Masters tournament last weekend too, so I think they just have one tournament left. Their Spring Classic. But that one works like it's got a qualifying, and then they go into like a step ladder, I think, as well. So, or do they? Maybe
I know Manitoba's doing the step ladder.
Half. I think they cut it in half after every game. That's what it is. Yeah. So they make a top 8 for the men and top 4 for the ladies, and then everyone bowls a game and they cut it in half after each one. So. Yeah, that's neat. But they only use their qualifying scores for the Masters aggregate for the year, I believe. But Doug Brock ended up winning the tournament. He wasn't the high for the qualifying. I think that was Mitch.
Mitch only plays teaching though.
Sorry, Matt Wallace. Matt Wallace shot 22.31, and Doug Brock was second with 21.43. And then they did that. And on the ladies' side, Tracy Ormiston won with 19.44.
Nice.
Yeah. So they just have their finals coming up. I don't know when that is, but yeah.
Anyone heard out of like BC? I don't often see their master stats.
They still have a March one coming up. April, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Be back there. So they have some time left. Northern Ontario still qualifying. I think their finals are in May.
Yeah.
If I'm correct.
After May long, it looks like.
I'm on. And I think Newfoundland still has some. I'm uncertain about Quebec.
Yeah.
I still think they
Newfoundland is this weekend. Is their last set.
Yeah. It's good. It's great to watch, and you can't wait to see who makes the teams out there.
Yeah. And I hear the hotel is walking distance to George Street, is what we were told. So
that's what we were
told.
It
is. Yes, it is out there. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Terry, you have a bedtime. You're old. You can't go to George Street.
I have a bedtime. I'm the oldest, ain't I?
Yeah.
Why do I have a bedtime?
Well, because
you won't make it to the morning.
You don't get a nap halfway through the day. Tell me what to do.
I won't get hungover, so I'm fine.
Oh, I'll get.
I hope Tyler just finishes his meal.
That was provincials. I was very good at nationals.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, no, it was. You guys are enjoy yourselves out there for sure. Do you want to quickly touch? No, you know what? No, I don't.
That's another inside joke.
Wow, that's super insensitive on this podcast. Yeah. I can't believe you would say something like that. No? And I'm not gonna wish you good luck or congratulations when you win.
I did congratulate you.
No, yeah, 5 days later. But anyways, we'll talk about that. Yeah,
I'll bring up the message.
Okay. Yeah, it just sounds like sour grapes, brah. But anyways, let's talk about the Open here. Open's coming up for a lot of people out here. I know Ontario is hosting theirs. BC, Alberta's coming up next week. I know Saskatchewan's this week. Saskatchewan does it a week before Easter, so they'll be playing this week. So we're finally going to see a little bit of some action out there, and I'm quite excited about it.
Why does Saskatchewan do theirs early?
I don't know. To be
Maybe
honest
they
with you,
value
Is it
family
like-
time and holidays, unlike the
That's
rest
what
of
Kevin
us.
Clark always says. I don't believe him.
I thought it was like had to do with like seeding or something.
yeah.
Seeding in April? Okay.
I don't know.
Tell which one of us did not grow up in the country.
That's right.
If the
Manitoba,
ground
they're
is
saying
still
it's
frozen,
Mexican.
you don't put a seed in the ground.
I assumed it had something to do with farming.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
Has
No.
nothing, no. And the Riders aren't playing, so I don't understand that either. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be good. I know we are going to be live streaming down in Chinook, so we're going to have the 5PU crew down there. I know Daryl's just managing; he's going to be running all that. Dasher's gonna be bowling, Carrie's gonna be bowling, and I'll be there in the back. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Coaching.
Rookie coach, or sorry, first time coach.
Carol, this is awesome. This is good because I don't know how many people know this outside of BC, but like the BC Open trials are wild because they'll have they used to have singles starting every day before the teams, and sometimes they were starting at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and then bowling 5 games and then starting teams right after. It was wild. So like this is awesome. This is a good change. I think you're gonna love it. But I think they play Thursday to Sunday.
That's a long. I guess we're Wednesday.
No,
to
it's the
Saturday.
same as us, except
Yeah.
we're done. We do Wednesday to
early.
Saturday, but yeah. Yeah.
Top
Looking
picks
forward to
other than yourselves for Alberta singles. Let's get dicey.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's not going to be me.
And it isn't gonna be Tim.
Wow.
I mean, I will say, Adam being there in Chinook.
Thanks, Aaron. I would be up at that time.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Tim?
I think you have to say Adam. I have to say Adam if I'm going to pick a player that grew up in Chinook and always plays well there. Adam's always one to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I need to see the list.
It's on,
I
on
honestly am
Alberta 5 Pin
interested
Open.
to see Curtis
48
Deering.
Pete.
No, he just got edged
Yeah,
out of singles. Is he in singles?
No, yes, he is. He got
Right, because
Yeah, he's
David
got
beat him.
second.
Yeah, okay. I'm interested to see how he plays. I've heard a lot about him. Obviously, he kind of stepped away from bowling before I started bowling in the adults. So I'm interested to see him compete again. I think he's got a really good shot.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I think if Curtis is even, let's say he's 3/4 of the player he used to be, he'll have a shot.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so these are the men's singles. Derek Holm, Parker Anderson, Mark Miller, all 3 great players. You have Anthony Street, Gary Baird, Rob Clark, obviously 3 good players there as well. Obviously Gary's a little bit better, he's a dream crusher. Dexter, Tyler, Adam, all there as well, great. Robert Tompkins, Tommy Tompkins, and Brian Hurst. Brian Hurst is up in those.
Man, there isn't too many slouches in those at all.
No. The
And
only
who from
slouch-
South?
David Cisco, Curtis Deering, and Mike Hershey, who's very underrated. I
Wow.
think he played. Yeah.
The singles is going to be awesome.
It's going to be really great to watch, yeah.
For a spectator, it's gonna suck as a bowler.
I don't know. We can have drinks. You can't. So
Yeah. Sorry, you have to refresh my memory. It's top 4 step ladder?
Top
5, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Mark Miller.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a wild card here. Well, it should be a wild card. But like Parker Anderson.
Yeah.
He's
been
been
playing
throwing
very well.
really well. And how can you say anything against Derek Holm? He won the Winnipeg. Just don't know if he's not injured, right? I think he had an injury recently, so...
Yeah, even before Masters, which was like last weekend, it was a no because he wasn't 100%.
Right. So, with that being said, like you can never count Derek Holm out. He's obviously been a singles rep before for Alberta, but with the injury might sideline him a little bit. But yeah, you could literally just about pick anybody out of there.
Right.
I wouldn't say it would be outrageous guess. That's for sure.
Tim?
I already
You
said
said Adam.
Weber.
Oh, you said Weber?
Fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, get over yourself.
Boring. 48
Okay.
Pete Weber.
Ladies, Jennifer Layden, Tamara Halverson, Christine Potsa, Jen Layden in her own center, that can be pretty deadly. Obviously Baker, Holly Warner, Emma Jean is there, Jenna Lamoureux, Katie Rayner, I don't know who that is, Julie Robko, Bonnie McDonald, Trina Neufeld. If you don't know who Trina Neufeld is, before Carrie was around, so a long time ago, she played out at Edmonton, and she went a couple nationals, and she won an Open Nationals on the mixed team. Corey Piu, Larissa Long, Diane Violini, and Tara Seitz. So, all great ladies once again. And no, we can't pick Katie, guys. So let's go on a.
How about you don't pick out of your zone, Tim, since you like picking your own zone?
Yeah, pick somebody else.
Okay, I'll pick one. I'll pick Baker. Baker would be a good one.
No, I meant for the men too.
Oh, for the men?
Yeah.
Gary Baird.
Yeah,
That's a
strong
good
pick.
pick.
Strong pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just seen Brett's comment.
Yeah.
For the ladies, I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I would love to see Julie succeed. She's been the single so many times. But I'm also really interested to see Larissa. I think she had a really breakout year a couple years ago with Masters, and I know she's not playing quite as much. But I think there's something with Larissa that could surprise some people.
Mm-hmm.
Always, and Tim said we can't pick her, but Dream Crusher forever, Katie Rayner. But Di would be amazing.
You can't count her out.
No.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good center for her too.
I really think that a dark horse is Jennifer Layden. She's always around. She always plays well.
Yeah.
Playing at her home center, I think that could be.
I would not call it a dark horse at all.
But like, and then you can't count out Baker. Baker just won Masters singles. Like,
I already said Baker.
I know, that's so crazy.
Yeah, I think, but I will say Jen's kind of a dark horse because she hasn't played a tour, she hasn't played Masters.
But she's always strong at the Open.
She's always strong, but outside the province, people might not know her as well as what we do and see her talent. But she's always one of the best. So
once again, like you could literally pick just about anybody out of that lineup and say it's good. Yeah,
Dexter, who are you going with?
Ah, shit! I was hoping I was going to get past that.
Absolutely not.
Do you live in your closet, Dexter?
I would have picked Katie for sure. She's played herself into a master spot. Her confidence should be high. She's all as cocky of a person as she is. She struggles with that a little bit. She's all talk, but she's so talented. I would definitely pick her, but I can't. So.
But yet you just pretty much told
Christine Potsa. Yeah.
All right.
Let me go, Christine. Yeah. She played really well on the weekend, too.
She did.
Yeah, she played herself into a Masters
You played with
spot,
her
too.
both days, so I mean, you definitely have the best look
really
at how her ball was reacting and if she's confident.
Okay, glad you finished that. Yeah.
Totally.
Oh God, Tim.
You played with her both days, and glad you played with her. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
Oh, Harvey's gonna murder you now. Like you're just having a whole list. You're gonna get beaten up at.
Do you know what? I'll get.
It's okay, he doesn't have to
Mike
bowl.
Wiss owes me. Mike Wiss owes me.
Does
so maybe
is Harvey coaching at Open Provincials?
I think so.
He's coaching
he's
the
coaching his
ladies.
dog. Yeah.
Oh, good luck, Tim.
No, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Yeah. So yeah, make sure you guys. Well, make sure you guys watch the stream 5P Universe and all that, and we're gonna get some great bowling out there in Chinook.
I will say Scotty Barber's been sitting in the background here, and he asked if I was even 40, and I'm not. So You guys can go suck it. Not that fucking old.
You turn 40 next year, right?
No, this year.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, within this calendar year, you turn 40.
Yeah, that's how that works, yeah.
Yeah. How many decades have you been alive? 80s, 90s?
The decade that I was born.
You're in the 5th decade.
No comment.
We're also in the 5th decade, Dexter.
I know. You weren't supposed to say that, Tim. If anyone was supposed to say that, it was supposed to be... Jesus. It was supposed to be Carrie.
This is like, okay, not meant to be a dig at either of you, but Carrie, you're playing on the mixed team, and Tim, you are coaching.
Yes.
These are relatively different experiences for you guys. Feelings, thoughts, opinions, comments, concerns, queries.
Tim's... I'm excited. I think Tim's a good coach, and I'm excited to see how Tim people manages.
Yeah, like it's going to be different for me. I have more nerves coaching and being in the pit because I can't control everything. When you bowl, you can control yourself. When you're sitting back there, you can't control everything. And you're managing. Don't take this the wrong way, ladies. Girls are going to cry. I don't do crying well. So I just there's things that with emotion that I'm going to learn there. And the best part is I have a couple drink a game with Rob Wolfson, who's a Calgary man, and one with Len. And I hear Carrie's doing a bottle a game with Brett Mapstone. And,
oh God!
And if you guys all understand what happened last year when Carrie ducked me one game, I will make sure that Brett ducks Carrie at some point. Or you know what? If Brett's up, then he's going to get pulled, loses his game. Well, I guess you know what? Carrie's going to win that bottle. So we'll figure out how all this is going to work out here. But no, in all fairness, I'm excited. It's going to be a different experience. It's just going to be different not being able to throw a ball. But I'm excited.
I think you'll do a good job.
I have a question for you, Tim. So since this is kind of your new coaching experience, and obviously you've gone through the coaching courses, have you watched any of Dez's segments on the Ladies Podcast to get some insight onto how to manage some of these personalities?
Zero.
You'll have time to go to do it on the bus right now.
Probably should watch a couple of them because they provide you great insight. And she has a proven track record.
You know what? I know Des very well. And Des can just stay in her lane when it comes to
My sister is upstairs right now, Tim.
It's all good. You know what? Des is a great coach. Des has won 10 in a row for YC now, YC Provincials. Obviously, she has a good track record, but yeah, I don't listen to her stuff. We're gonna be fine. Yeah.
So from my side, obviously mixed experience. I've been on a couple mixed teams with Central, but this one is going to be, I think, a little bit different. We have a young rookie that is playing on our team. Well, sorry, we have a few rookies on our team, but we have a really young one in Wyatt. And Mitch, who's been the tech people on the 5PL, he's gotten back into bowling here about 4 years ago. So he has found his stride and has come a long ways. And I'm excited to play with him. And our ladies, like Robin's been there, Peggy's been there, Karen's been there. We may be looked at as a little bit of underdogs because of our scores coming out of qualifying and stuff like that. But I hope we catch a few teams off guard and get some quick wins.
Mitch can play. He throws a lot of strikes when he's on a roll. I'm excited to see what Wyatt's like.
Wyatt's been on a tear.
Yes,
he's won some stuff here lately.
I tell you what, Wyatt, it's going to be great to have that experience for Wyatt. I think he's going to be way better when people give him credit for. I think he's going to steal some things out there. I know I look on paper. I looked at your team and I was like, and after watching Wyatt play, I'm like, okay, there's a guy you got to watch out for, right? Everybody knows Carrie's going to play anchor all 20 games, and that's just the way it's going to be. So
maybe I'm playing leadoff. You don't know.
And we all know Carrie's good for the double in 10.
Well, you got to tell me
3-pin on the last ball.
you got to tell me if you're playing leadoff because then I got to move Brett up, right? Is that how that works?
And let's go back to this. You said I ducked you last year. It was the other way around. And I wouldn't be surprised if you make Brett duck me too. So,
do you know what? Last year, everybody understands load management, right? So they gave me a game off, and it just happened
when
to be
you already had the National in your pocket and All-Star in your pocket, you duck me to protect it. Like, how selfish is that?
No, I played the last game against North.
That's fair. But you already had it locked.
And I beat Hawka. I guess that's no big deal. I beat Hawka.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Good jokes, good memories. Yeah, me and Brett got some alcohol on the line, so I need to play him. So make sure he doesn't duck me. That's all I ask.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a good time. It'll be different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dexter and I are just going to have a party up in the 1-2 spots on the men's team. So you guys do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I love it. Brad came up to me like 2 weeks later and goes, I just realized with you and Ty being up top, it's going to be a complete shit show.
especially after the twint.
Especially, Adam looked at us and goes, you guys aren't even drunk. Nope. Yep. It's gonna be a good time. I think our team is gonna be really fun. I think it's gonna be a really fun team. We're gonna have a good mix of people, and I finally get to play with Ty. I finally get to play with Kemper. Yeah, it's gonna be a good year. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, so like Tim was saying, 5-Pin Universe is going to be streaming the Alberta Open. We don't know how many feeds we're going to be able to do, but we will be doing one absolutely for sure, with commentary periodically throughout the whole weekend. Starts Wednesday with the singles, runs all the way to Saturday. So you can catch us on our main channel on the YouTube, or second channel if we have a second stream, and we will throw one to Facebook as well if everything allows. So good luck to the rest of the teams playing for Open, but we won't be having a podcast next week, so you can catch the 5PL this Sunday. Lots of matches, lots of different teams playing, so it should be a good time.
Yeah.
Everyone can watch games 1 through 9 for the singles, and we're going to ignore the 10th game because we don't have a great track record there. So everyone tune in for games 1 to 9.
I'm right there with you.
And then the step ladder.
Yeah, last year sucked in the 10th game, but you'll do one what?
Podcast.
Oh, sure. Just let me know.
He's in.
You can run it. You have access to it. Set it on up. Do your own thing, Brett. Bring in whoever you want. I like this idea. Perfect. So there will be a podcast next week.
Podcast 161, hosted by Hendo.
Perfect.
There we go. Perfect.
Like
here we go. Yeah, definitely Central's the team to beat for mixed. Definitely the team to beat. I'm really, really.
Oh, typical. Just so you know, Brett, Scotty wants to be on next week too, so you can contact him and set that up with him.
He hasn't left the podcast yet. Can you tell him to log off?
Okay, we're gonna wrap this here. Thanks again for another great week. We'll see you all on Sunday and the week after. Jesus. Sorry, background talk going on.
Scotty also flipped us the finger. Like father, like son.
Alright, have a good week, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Matt.